Can't stop this feeling, baby. Only you can make me come alive. When we're crushing us.
Hello and welcome to a survival coverage video I'm going to do on the WoD Draenor PTR. I'm going to showcase a few different things in this video. I'm going to go through our new stat priority, level 100 talents, what they've removed and added to the spec, and your possible rotations. I know it's very early during beta, so not much of this, if any of it, will go on to live, but I thought I'd cover it just in case it does. Alright, first of all I'll go through your possible stat priority. For those who aren't playing beta or haven't looked up much about it, there are some new secondary stats that are being added in the game. One of them is multi-strike, which is going to be our main stat as survival hunters. This gives 2 chances to deliver extra attacks or heals for 30% of the normal value on each target, and the 2 chances are equivalent to your percentage in multi-strike. Like right now I have 18.35, which gives me 2 18.35 chances to deliver extra attacks. The reason why we're going to be reforging into multi-strike is because they have changed the way that lock and load works now. The way it works, or the way it used to work, is that Black Arrow would just give you a percentage chance to trigger lock and load, and then that would give you 2 lock and load charges, and you could just spend them, whatever. They've changed it so that every time your Black Arrow multi-strikes, it will give you 1 charge of lock and load, and these charges can, I presume, go up to an infinite amount. I'm pretty sure no one will ever get there, but I guess it could be a possibility that it could get to 10 or something. But lock and load no longer resets the cooldown on explosive shot, so you can get say you've used explosive shot and it's on cooldown and you get a lock and load proc, it won't reset the cooldown of explosive shot. It will still continue with the cooldown, and then you can use your explosive shot charges without triggering the cooldown. That's how the new lock and load works. But yeah, into the stat priorities, I myself would go for multi-strike and then a haste soft cap on Black Arrow, so that you can get a certain amount of extra ticks of Black Arrow over the duration. Seeing as the multi-strike will have a chance to proc from every single tick, I don't see why the more ticks you have isn't a good idea. And then I'd say crit, and then I'd say versatility and mastery will probably be even. Mastery doesn't really play that big of a role, it's just a damage increase for Black Arrow, but that's not really what we're looking for. So I guess versatility, which is a flat damage increase and a damage taken for all your abilities, but it's by quite a small percentage. It's only by a couple of % or something. Now you need to remember that reforging has actually been taken away for WoD Draenor, so the possibility of getting a haste soft cap, for example, on Black Arrow, it's going to be quite unlikely. And the same goes for getting multi-strike on every single piece of gear. Like the secondary stats are now randomly generated from pieces of gear that drop. So you could say have one piece of gear that drops 1 week that has multi-strike and haste on it, which is, you know, perfect. But then the next week the same piece of gear that could drop and it could have versatility and mastery on it. So stat priorities stat priority isn't going to be any different, but the way that you get to your final stat priority is going to be a lot different, because you won't be able to just say, oh, I need this piece of loot from this boss, because it just won't be able to happen. Like, if it could drop, but it could have the wrong secondary stats on. So yeah, you need to take that into account when gearing up. Okay, what have they removed? Well, they removed our lock and load system. They removed the actual button for Serpent Sting. So you can't actually apply Serpent Sting through pressing the Serpent Sting button. It's now applied through the use of Arcane Shot and Multi-Shot. They've removed Kill Shot for survival. I don't really see why they needed to do that. It's not like it was super OP or something. It felt right for the class, and now it feels like whenever we get to 20% or 35% now, whatever it is, we have a lot missing. It feels like we need something there. I don't see why they took away an Execute. They took away Stampede and put it as a talent. So you can either choose Crows, Blink Strikes or Stampede now. And they also removed Rapid Fire for survival. I'm not really too sure what I think about this, to be honest. Like, they've given it to marksmanship only, which, you know, I think is quite a good idea. Marksmanship needs a lot of changes, and you'll see from the video I'll make in a couple of days how much of a change it needs. Like, it's so bad. It's just so bad. Like, I thought Warlords Journal was going to be the marksmanship change, but clearly not. But yeah, for survival, like, I don't think Rapid Fire did that much. It was just a really nice, like, short cooldown damage increase, but we can live without it. It's not too much of an issue, but the problem I see right now is that they're actually removing a lot of personal DPS increase cooldowns for hunters. I think that's about it, to be honest. Like, they haven't removed too much. They got rid of quite a lot of button bloat by removing Serpent Sting button and putting it into an ability that already exists. Like, I don't think that's that bad of an idea. I just like the fact that that you can just press Serpent Sting and have Serpent Sting up. But whatever, I guess it's quite a nice change of life, whatever it's called. And what have they added? They've changed the fact that, well, we don't really have aspects anymore, to be honest. We have the abilities of aspects. It's not like a stance bar anymore. It's just abilities in our spellbook, and they're all on a 10-second cooldown. Well, aspect of the pack and aspect of the cheat are on a 10-second cooldown. Aspect of the hawk no longer exists. A new ability, which is fucking awesome. It finally gives us some raid utility, other than being able to solo soak everything and being belt bitches on Siegecraft. They've given us an ability called Aspect of the Fox. It's on a 3-minute cooldown, and all party and raid members within 40 yards take on the Aspect of the Fox, allowing them to move while casting all spells and abilities for 6 seconds. Only one aspect can be active at a time. This is fucking awesome. I can't get over how amazing this is. This actually might increase the chances of having extra hunters in a raid, or for high movement fights. If you're a guild that has a big roster and has people sit out and replaces some classes for different encounters, this is where hunters are going to be amazing. Any guild with, well, any sense will stack hunters on high movement fights, because Aspect of the Fox is going to be insane. Like, they've removed a lot of classes move casting abilities. Like for warlocks, they've gotten rid of the fact that you can cast Incinerate while moving. You can't. They've removed Fell Flame as well now, so you can't spam something whilst moving either. So this is going to be insane. Like, finally they've given hunters some raid utility, so we can actually feel helpful rather than just being OP when it comes to personal utility. Alright, time to showcase some level 100 talents. The first I'll be doing is a talent called Exotic Munitions. This pretty much gives us like a Shaman imbue on our weapons, which changes depending on what one you put on. There are 3 different ones: a fire one, a frost one, and a poison one. The fire one is mainly AoE. It does damage to the main target, and then sort of splash damage to targets within a certain amount of yards. I think it's 8 yards of the initial target. So as you can see, just attacking the one in the middle, and it's hitting the ones to the sides of it. Something you should note is that this also multi-strike can proc off of these splash damage targets, and the same with the main target. So I guess this is going to be our imbue for a lot of heavy AoE fights. The next one is frozen ammo, which is going to be our main single target damage dealer. This hits the target for quite a lot. I think it's around 1.4k, but it also slows the target for 50%, so I guess if this talent is viable in PvP, this is what people are going to go with. Just gets rid of the need to use concussive shot, or you can multi-target slow, whatever. It does quite a lot of damage actually, critting for 2.8k there, average hits of about 1.4k, I think that's what I had down. Yeah, about 1.5, 1.4k average hits, which is pretty awesome. And then finally we had poisoned arrow, or poisoned ammo, sorry, which is it's pretty unique dot actually. It scales with the amount of auto attack damage you're doing. So initially it won't actually hit that hard. It will hit for, yeah, like you just saw a tick there, 170, 280, 400s, and it will keep scaling up. I think the max I got it to was around 1.2k or something. So it's not as good as frozen arrow, nowhere near as good as frozen arrow, but yeah, it's quite good. I think for it to be viable on live, it's going to need scaling up a little bit more. I feel like because it's a dot, it should probably do more than, well, actually just a little bit less than what frozen arrow is, but the ramp up time of it needs to be a lot less. It takes so long to get it to its like max power or whatever. See, like right now it's not even at its max power yet, and this has been a good, what, 25 seconds, almost 30 seconds now, and it's still ticking for just under 1k. Whereas Frozen Arrow was doing 1.5k hits from the start. So, also one thing to note is that trinket procs and scopes also work in sync with the arrows. With the ammo. So the poison arrow does get a lot stronger when you have your trinket procs up, but as soon as the trinket procs drop, it's not snapshot. So as soon as your next auto shot will hit, it will just ramp down to base agility levels. Same goes for frozen arrow and the incendiary shot, or whatever it's called, incendiary ammo. Alright, the next one we're going to look at is called focusing shot. This actually replaces cobra shot in your normal rotation. Now what this actually does is it just gives you a shit ton of focus. It's pretty much further with a cast time, and it hasn't got a cooldown. It does quite a lot of damage, to be honest. Like compared to Cobra Shot, the damage was pretty amazing. Focusing Shot done an average of 2.4k over a million damage fight, and Cobra Shot did a 1.5k. The cast time is 2.83 seconds on Focusing Shot, where Cobra Shot is 1.88, and it regenerates 50 focus, whereas Cobra Shot only regenerates 14 focus. Something to note is that Cobra Shot no longer, well, I don't know if it's a bug in beta or something, but Cobra Shot is no longer refreshing the duration on Serpent Sting. So, to be honest, I think Focusing Shot might actually, well, it pulls ahead on damage wise, but feel wise it doesn't feel too right. Like you can't cast and move it, which is pretty annoying. But I don't know if the damage is going to make it so that it's better than Cobra Shot. In my opinion, it's not going to be better than Cobra Shot. I love being able to cast and move Cobra Shot. I love the short cast times with short amount of focus regen. You know, it's something that I'm used to from live, and something that I don't think I'm going to want to change for Warlords of Draenor unless Focusing Shot is fucking super OP. It's not going to happen for me personally, but I'll show you it now. Pretty big hits, to be honest, but the cast time is just something that is not very utility friendly. I don't like long cast times, so this isn't going to be something that I personally am going to use. It doesn't feel right for hunters. Well, it would feel right for a marksmanship hunter, I guess, but for survival, which is quite a quick and spontaneous class, it just feels like it levels it way too much. It just makes the class and spec pretty boring. Last but not least, a talent that everyone on the forums says they love, and it says is a fantastic idea, but on beta sucks. Like, it sucks. Like, it's a brilliant idea, a 30% flat damage increase when you don't have your pet up. So it's like something that people have wanted for a really long time, but the damage percentage just doesn't feel there compared to when you have your pet up. It's just like the average numbers, which I'll stick up on the screen now. I did a test over a couple of million damage earlier, and with and without Lone Wolf, and the damage just doesn't feel correct. It doesn't feel like it's scaled up enough. For me, sacrificing my pet for a flat damage increase, I really need to feel that I'm getting the damage increase, where it just doesn't feel like that. I don't know if it's a bug, I don't know if they haven't scaled everything up correctly, but for me I feel like they should have already scaled the talent properly. They've already done it, they've already scaled it properly, but it's not enough. So I don't think on live, unless they change it, it's going to be something that is going to be useful for survival hunters. Yeah, like I said, I'll keep the average numbers up on the screen of when I was using it and when I wasn't using it, so you guys can have a look at that. But I'll just go into rotation now, so you guys can see what it looks like. The damage, like it doesn't feel like it's enough to me. I feel like my pet can do way more damage than all the damage I'm actually getting out of this. Is that 9k? Yeah, and for people who don't know, survival hunters are incredibly underpowered right now on the beta. In the starting gear, survival hunters just don't have enough multi-strike for lock and load to trigger enough for it to be viable at all. Plus, a lot of the classes and specs haven't been fine-tuned yet. So you've got Frost Mages being able to pull like 30k DPS, and Survival Hunters not even being able to get past like 9k, so yeah. But for me right now, if I was going to make a guess on where Survival Hunters are going to be in Warlords of Draenor, I'm going to say it's going to be an end game talent for hunters, end game talent, end game spec for hunters. I feel like you're just going to need to have multi-strike on every single piece of gear for it to even be viable, unless they scale, or not scale, but increase the base damage of every other ability by quite a lot. It's not going to be competitive at the start in normal raiding gear or whatever. You're going to probably have to have best in slot multi-strike gear for this. But you know, we'll see. Hopefully they fix some of the issues that it has. Another thing with Lone Wolf is it gives you the ability to be able to buff any buff in the raid, which is pretty awesome. Like, I think that's quite a nice utility buff for the raid. So if you don't have the pet for the buff, you can always spec Lone Wolf and then just buff it anyway, which is pretty awesome. I'm gonna talk about your possible rotation now. It's hard for me to say what your rotation is going to be, because I don't want this to be like a guide, because there's no way, well, some of this stuff isn't going to make it to live, so don't take any of this, well, not seriously, but don't think this is going to be how it is on live. Okay, we no longer have Hunter's Mark, so don't worry about fucking putting that up. We're going to start in the same sort of way that we did in Mrs. Pandaria, by pre-casting a Glaive Toss and using, well, I'm going to use the Troll Racial, like if you don't have it, don't worry. And then we're going to go Explosive Shot, Black Arrow, Arcane Shot to apply the Serpent Sting. So that's pretty much it. I'll talk about the lock and loads and what you should do with the lock and load when it procs. Use Cobra Shot to regen focus when you need it. Right, one possible suggestion is do not use Explosive Shot when it's off of cooldown like it is now. As you can see, it's really not working out for me this time. This is probably going to be a very high multi-strike rotation. If you have high multi-strike, just leave Explosive Shot off of cooldown, like, because as you've seen right there, I got my Lock and Load proc, which didn't take the cooldown off of Explosive Shot again. This is where one possible rotation will come in. Never using the original, well, the baseline Explosive Shot, and well, never use it when it's just the normal one, because you can just keep the Lock and Load procs and only ever use the normal normal Explosive Shot when Black Arrow drops, because you have downtime. But yeah, like, I don't know if this is going to be the best. It probably will be, to be honest, that high multi-strike gear. Best in slot gear, this will probably be the best rotation, but for now I'm guessing we should just always use Explosive Shot, no matter if it's off cooldown or whatever. Keep Black Arrow up, keep Serpent Sting up, keep Glaive Toss on CD, use Arcane Shot to refresh Serpent Sting. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's something that's most likely going to be quite a hot topic on places like MMO Champion, some unique hunter forums, whatever. But personally for me, I have no clue. I seem to prefer, well, I prefer the one where you don't use Explosive Shot. Explosive Shot's normal cooldown. I prefer the one where you only use the Lock and Load procs. But like I've said, it's probably only going to be for best in slot gear. Also, another thing to note is when you have Lock and Load procs past, I think it's 4, or when you use 3 Explosive Shots, that's when the ramping up stops. So I think we're going to have they're going to bring back an aspect of spell weaving, to be honest. If you've got your 3rd Explosive Shot ramp up, like I can do here, I'm going to see if I can get another one. Yep, good. So I use 1, 2, 3, that's when the effect ends, so it can no longer get better, and then you can just use another Explosive Shot to keep the duration at its max, but not straight after. You have time to get in other abilities straight after that. So yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to work. There's a lot of changes to be made before Warlords of Draenor actually hits, so yeah, I'll try and keep you all updated. But it's going to be interesting to see how they actually change survival, because I think it does need a few changes, but right now it's looking, the basics of the class are looking good. We just need the numbers now. So thank you all for watching. If you like the video, subscribe, leave a comment with what you want to see next, and if you like the video, press the thumbs up button. See you later.